So let's start in our Supta Baddha Konasana. Lying on your back. Supta means supine. Your back. If you have a bolster and a blanket, you can use them. Otherwise, you can just lie flat on your back. If you are using a bolster, make sure you're sitting off of the bolster with a little bit of space between your hips and the bolster, and then you lie back. You could also, if you don't have a bolster, you could use just a little rolled up blanket for under the head, like a little pillow. And then wherever you are, start with the knees bent, the feet on the floor. And then I want you to use your thumbs on your back, on the low back, to sort of press the hips away from the low back. So you're lengthening the low back. You could then tuck the shoulders underneath you a little bit more. Maybe the hands rest on the belly. Maybe the arms open out to the side. And then bring the feet together and open the knees to the sides. Now, if this is too much in the inner thighs, you can use your hands and bring the legs back up to center. And then instead, keep the feet wide with the knees touching. But wherever you are, start to find any adjustments that would make you feel a little more comfortable. Again, maybe you lengthen the hips away from the low back, lengthening the low back a little bit. If the arms are really feeling tight here, you can clasp the hands and keep them on the belly. That way they're a little bit more locked in place. And then once you've found a comfortable position, take a slow breath in and surrender on your exhale. Let it be what it is. So Supta means supine, Baddha means bound, and Konasana means angle pose. Either with the eyes open or closed. Start to slow the breath if you haven't already. This doesn't have to be your deepest breath. In fact, it shouldn't be your deepest breath. It should be slow and deliberate, where you're not full to bursting or completely empty. And as we lie here, can you imagine the breath coming in through the crown of the head, going down the spine all the way into the hips, and then going out the same way it came in? So starting from the hips, exhale all the way through the crown of the head. Now, obviously, we're not actually sending the breath through the crown of the head or down into the hips. But here, what happens if you imagine it? Does it help you relax the face a little bit more, soften the jaw, the eyebrows? Maybe not. Does it help you keep the exhales and the inhales equal length? And if it's just a distraction, let it go. We'll take 3 breaths together. When you're ready, exhale all the stale air out. Then inhale nose. And exhale mouth. Inhale nose. Exhale mouth. Last time together. Exhale. Let the lips touch. Breathe in and out through the nose. Blink open the eyes if they're closed. Use the hands to bring the legs back together. Feet on the floor. And then roll to your right side, coming off of your support if you have support under the spine. Press the left hand down and then lean the left shoulder forward so that you can press yourself up to a seat. Okay, any comfortable seat today. If you like, as always, you can sit up against a wall. You can sit up on a prop, or you can sit right on the floor. And then starting at the top of the head, just tap using your fingers, the crown of the head, moving down to the back of the neck, the sides of the face, maybe even the front of the face, getting the nose, using your fingertips. And then get into the collarbones and the shoulders. You can use the right hand to tap down the left arm, all the way to the hand, and back up the arm, getting all sides. And then use the left arm to tap down the right. And then head down the front of the chest, onto the belly. See if you can get the low back, maybe even the mid back. Tap down the legs when you're ready. And then take some slow wave-like movements with the arm. So initiate from the shoulder, let the elbow follow, let the wrist follow, and then the fingers at the end, so that the movement is very deliberate. And then do both arms. Articulate each movement. And then come back to your comfortable seat. Press the sitting bones down. Lift the crown of the head. And then inhale to reach the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Reach up through the fronts of the arms, and from the backs of the arms, from the thumbs down to the shoulders, let the arms sort of move down into the shoulders. If it feels okay here, clasp elbows and reach the elbows up, almost like you could lift the rib cage up out of the chest. And then reach the arms back up and clasp hands, just the pointer fingers, just the first fingers pointing up. And inhale, look up. And exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, look up. Exhale, chin to chest. Come back to center, release your grip, and then cross the elbows the awkward way. Just cross them normal and then recross them and lift the rib cage up. Reach the elbows up. And then reach the arms up, clasp the hands the awkward way. Release the index fingers. Inhale, lift the gaze. Exhale, chin to chest. One more time, keep moving the arms up and back. Bring the head back to center and release the arms down towards the sides. Lean forwards, hold on to the knees, and inhale, arch through the spine. Pull the shoulders back. Exhale, round through the back, let the shoulders come forwards. Inhale, move the chest forwards through the arms. Exhale. One more time. And then back to center. Roll the shoulders a few times up and back. The next time they roll back, keep them there. Bring the right ear towards the right shoulder. And then let the chin come closer towards the collarbone, looking towards the shoulder. And then lift the chin closer towards the ceiling. Bring the chin back to center and roll the chin to the chest. Roll the left ear towards the left shoulder, keeping both shoulders back. You just roll them back and kept them there. Right shoulder down. Can you bring the chin closer towards the collarbone, looking down? And then switch looking up. Chin back to center. Chin to chest. And lift the gaze. Let's do one more thing seated here. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring the right hand down and lean towards the left. Try to keep that left sitting bone down as you reach through the left fingertips. Look up towards the left hand if that feels okay. And bring the right shoulder away from the ear. One long line on the left side. Slow breath. Use your arms. Inhale, let yourself come back up to center. Both arms up. Exhale, left hand down, other side. And again, press the right sitting bone. Reach through the right fingers. Maybe look up towards the top hand and relax the left shoulder away from the ear. So it's not the shoulders doing the work here. It's lengthening up through the spine, all the way from the right hip to the right fingers. Low breath. And inhale back up to center, Urdhva Hastasana, arms, reach the arms up. And exhale, lower the arms. Okay, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. It's cold enough where I have to wear my socks for the first section of class until I need to use my feet. If you get too cold today, feel free to put your socks back on. It's not a big deal. When you're ready for downward facing dog, tuck the toes, spread the fingers, and lift the hips up and back. We're not staying for too long. So first, notice how this one feels. It's the first one of the day. Let the head and neck be heavy. Press the arms so that you can lift the hips up and back. We're going to move between this and Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. So keep the toes tucked and inhale, come forwards to a plank. Notice if you were a little bit too narrow. So for me, I need to walk my hands forwards one step. Now I'm in a better plank. As you inhale, hover the hips off the floor and move the chest forwards, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, let the hips pull you back. Keep the feet where they are, even if they feel a little wide. Press into the hands. Exhale here. Then inhale, upward facing dog. Strong legs. Lift the thighs up as you lower the hips. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, upward facing dog. Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, down. Adho Mukha. One more time. Inhale, shift forward. Look forward. Maybe look up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now, if you walked your hands forwards or your feet back, you can walk the feet a little closer in just to make this a little bit more accessible. Press into the hands. The arms are a little tired. Use the inner hand pressing. It's almost like the whole inner arm presses down towards the floor. So from the shoulder, can you press the arms down? Press the feet back. And then lower onto the knees. Child's pose. If child's pose is not great for you, you can come to elbows and knees instead. Let the head and neck hang. Notice your breath. Keep that smooth breath in and out through the nose. We're going to meet in Uttanasana, forward fold. So wherever you are, try to keep the head and neck just as heavy as they are now. And find your way to that forward fold standing. Again, trying not to lift the head. Bring the feet under the hips. They could be a little bit wider. Toes in, heels out slightly. And maybe you bend the knees and hold opposite elbows. There's this dance that happens in the legs, between the legs and the low back. So for some of us, it feels good to keep the knees bent, to take the hamstrings out of the equation, and let the whole upper body melt forward. But there's also this place when you straighten the legs and the legs are engaged, it brings the hamstrings back into the equation. So it can be a little bit hard for people who are tight there. Everyone is tight in the hamstrings, by the way. There's nobody I have met who's not tight in the hamstrings. But there's this point where if you can straighten the legs, the low back starts to release. If you're holding elbows, switch your grip. Maybe you try bending one knee and straightening the other, seeing how that feels. And then just like downward facing dog, actively flex the feet so that you're moving the weight forwards into the big toe ball mounds rather than sinking your weight back into the heels. And then bring the hands to the hips. And inhale, come all the way up to stand. Okay, I want to do one thing before we do sun salutations. If you have a block, use a block. If you don't have a block, you can use a wall. I think if you have a block, use a block. And then let me think about what the alternative is. I basically want you to have the block about 1.5 feet away from the wall. And then bring the ball mounds of the foot up on the block with your heels on the floor. Hopefully this makes sense. I'm leaning up against the wall so that I don't fall back. If you don't have a wall, you can do this without, you might just need to hold on to something. But you could do this without the wall. And if you don't have a block, I don't know how you could do this. You could do it with a wall, I guess. You could bring the toes up the wall, but you'll have to be near a corner or something so you don't fall back. I basically just want you to have all of your weight in the heels. And if the block is too close to the wall and you can't get your feet, you can't get your heels down, move the block away from the wall. And then while you're here, lift the arms up towards the ceiling. Now, if you're using your arms for stability, don't lift the arms, just keep them where they are. Reach the arms up, press the heels down, lift the kneecaps. We're just going to stay for a few more breaths. So again, reach the arms up. If your back is up against the wall, make sure you can feel your low ribs breathing into the wall. And then lower the arms. Carefully bring the feet down. Okay, Tadasana. If we did this right, and by we, I mean if I taught this right, hopefully you're feeling your weight in the heels now. It's almost like we've told our feet that the weight should be in the heels, and now the whole back body can lengthen. Tadasana feels maybe a little bit more stable with the feet firmly on the floor. Lift the kneecaps, reach the arms down, lift the chest. Slow breath in. And slow breath out. We're going to do sun salutation. So if you need to move your props out of the way, move them out of the way. Tadasana. Let your exhale be deep and complete. And then inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, reach up, look up. Exhale, lower the arms, Tadasana. Adding on, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway, moving at your own pace. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Knees can come down. Oh, there's my cat. Look forwards in plank. Say hello to Wasabi. Hello. And as you exhale, lower down onto your belly. Baby cobra, tops of the feet pressed down, tops of the thighs pressed down. Make sure the knees are lifted up off the floor so that your legs are really strong and straight. And then inhale, lift just the chest up off the floor. Fingers light, not putting any pressure on the hands. Pull the shoulders back. Press the thighs down, press the tops of the feet down. Roll the inner thighs up towards the ceiling. And exhale, lower down. Child's pose, downward facing dog, anything in between. It was a nice little surprise from my cat, who doesn't often get in the way like that. Yeah. Two more breaths wherever you are. Notice that internal dialogue. Bring your attention back to your breath. As you inhale, look between the hands. Exhale, feet come to the hands, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, shoulders back. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up, reach up, look up. Exhale, right back down, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha, halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Knees can be down, look forwards. Exhale, elbows in as you lower, straight back. Flip the feet, inhale, take a back bend. Strong legs, kneecaps lifted. Exhale, downward facing dog or child's pose or anything in between. Take what you need today, knowing that it'll be different tomorrow. It'll be different than it was yesterday. Three more breaths. Different this time. Let your exhale be deep and complete as you prepare. And then inhale, both feet forward, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, reach up, look up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, lower the arms, Tadasana. Okay, so your Namaskar beat. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. We're coming to chair. Pick your arm variation, maybe thumbs to sternum. And then lift the thumbs up on the sternum. So it's not just your sternum lifting up towards the thumbs, it's the thumbs actually moving up, lifting the sternum. And then bend the knees, sink the hips low. Try to keep the spine in a straight line. If the toes are touching, you can squeeze the knees together. You can try to roll the inner thighs down so that the sitting bones spread a little wider, or at least feel like they are. Slow breath in, lift the sternum. Exhale, bring the hands down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, meet me in downward facing dog. Maybe you go through this little push-up to get there. Then inhale to lift the right leg up and back. And exhale to step it forwards. Back heel down on an angle, warrior one, bend into the right knee. And inhale, reach the arms up. Hold on to the left wrist. bend into the right knee. Inhale, lengthen up, and exhale, tip towards the right. Inhale, reach the arms back up, release your grip. Exhale, hands frame the front foot, step back to plank, and meet me in downward facing dog. Again, maybe you go through that little push-up and the back bend to get there. Sides will be different. Exhale here. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it forwards. Back heel comes down. Bend into the left knee, look forwards for balance. Inhale, lift the arms up, come up. Hold on to the right wrist. Bend deeper into that front knee. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, tip towards the left, taking a little side bend on the right. And then inhale back to center, release your grip. And exhale, bring the hands down. Again, optional vinyasa, step back, meet me in downward facing dog. 5 breaths in down dog. Head and neck heavy. Maybe close the eyes. And again, from the inner arm, all the way from the crook of the armpit to the thumb, can you press the inner arms down? Down into the floor. As you inhale, look forward. Exhale, bring the feet to the hands. Big toes touch, heels slightly together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We're coming to chair. Inhale, lift up. Maybe thumbs to sternum. Bend the knees. And exhale, Tadasana. Straighten the legs, lower the arms. Okay, nice. If you have blocks, keep them at the front of your mat. If you don't worry about it. Come back to the top of the mat, Tadasana. Can you bring that sensation again of having the weight in the heels? Lift the kneecaps, turn on the quads, reach the arms. Reach all the way through the pinky fingers, reach all the way through the middle fingers, reach all the way through the thumbs. Exhale here. Then inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Now hands can come to blocks if you like. Step the right foot back, and we're coming to warrior 2. So now you're going to take a wide stance, heel to arch alignment, left heel, right arch, bend into the left knee, and then reach the right arm forwards and up as you pivot the arms up to stand. You can bend and straighten into the left knee a few times. Try to keep the right heel down. And the next time you bend into the knee, hold here. Make sure you can only see your big toe so that your knee is sort of hiding the rest of the toes from you. And then reach the right pinky finger back, the little finger back, but reach the left pointer finger forwards to help straighten the shoulders. Press down into the feet and let the chest be light. Look slightly up, just slightly, towards the top corner of the room. And then bring the hands to the hips, straighten the front leg. We're going to do triangle. So that's why your blocks are close by. Reach the arms to a T. Inhale. Straighten the legs, lift the kneecaps, and exhale, tip that left hand close towards the block. Maybe it's on the shin. Maybe it's on the ankle. Maybe it's on the block. Mine is on a block behind my foot right now. Reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. And again, can you reach through the right little finger? Press down through the left second finger, the index finger. I guess it's the first finger technically because the thumb isn't a finger, whatever. Lift the kneecaps, straighten the legs. And then that left inner thigh, can you move it? I'm going to say it's forwards, but it's forwards towards the face, not forwards towards the foot. So forwards, and then the right hip, can you move it backwards, straightening that leg? If that didn't make sense, don't worry about it. Look slightly back, take a slow breath in. Slow breath out. Now micro bend the front knee and inhale, rise all the way up to stand. And then hands come down to frame the front foot. Step back to plank. Meet me in downward facing dog. Notice the difference between the sides once you get there. We're a little uneven now. Just turning around so I can see you. Take a slow breath. Now the right foot is going to step forwards. You can use your hand to get it all the way up there. Hands can be on blocks. Make your arms a little longer. And then left heel down on an angle. Set yourself up for warrior two, second side. Wide feet. Bend into the right knee. Reach the left arm forwards and make a big circle until you get yourself all the way up to stand. And then reset your feet if you need to. Heel to arch alignment. Bend and straighten a few times into that front leg. And as you do this, can you keep that left heel down the whole time? If your arms are tired, hands to hips, try to keep the shoulders wide. And the next time you bend into the right knee, hold. Make sure you can only see your big toe. Press into the outer left foot. Reach through the left pinky and the right first finger, index finger. Widen the chest. Press down into the feet, bend into the front knee a little bit more. Nice. Look slightly up. Slow breath in. Slow breath out. One more breath here. Power up the legs so that the upper body can be a little bit lighter. And then straighten the front leg, bring the hand to the hips for a little break. Now this is a pretty wide triangle pose, but just try it. See how it goes today. Lift the kneecaps. If you can always bring the back foot in slightly if it's too wide. Lift the kneecaps so the quads are engaged. And here you're going to press into the inner right foot, the outer left foot. So it's almost like the hips are going to want to turn that way anyway, where this bottom hip, the left hip, is going to move towards the left side of the mat. And then the left hip is going to move to the right side of the mat. But that's not until we get into it. So reach the arms wide. Inhale, lift the biceps. Exhale, tip forwards. Bring the right hand to a block or to wherever it's going to land. Don't forget the legs. Inner right foot, outer left foot. Lift the kneecaps. Suck the femur head into the hip socket. And then that right femur head, can you move it towards the left? The left femur head, can you move it towards the right? And then twist up, reach up through the left arm. Look back slightly. Strong legs, strong arms. One more breath. Micro bend that front knee. And inhale, use the arms to help you back up to stand. This time, parallel the feet, bring the hands to the hips. Turn a wide leg stance. And then let's take the arms really big and wide, like some people call this star pose. This is not an actual yoga pose as far as I know, but looks fun. Lift the kneecaps, press the feet down, reach the arms up. Make sure the low back is long so you're sending the tailbone down towards the backs of the knees without bending the knees. Keep the thighs straight. And then bring the hands back to the hips. Heel toe the feet a little closer together. And then bring the feet together. Okay, let's sit. So here, highly recommend that you have something to sit up on. We're going to take a a twist. I'm using this blanket just because I have hard floors and I'm going to be facing you. So you're going to keep your left hip on your cushion. And ideally, you can bend the knees towards your, so the feet are towards your right, and you're sort of sitting down. Now, if this is not going to work for you, then you're going to keep both hips on your cushion and cross your legs normal. So if your feet are to the right, stay here. Again, it's just my left sitting bone that's held up. Reach the arms up. Inhale. And as you exhale, bring the right hand down, the left hand back. I'm holding on to my bolster in the back, but you can bring your hand to the floor, or if you're close to a wall, you can bring your hand on the wall. Wherever you are, we're turning. Can you keep the left sitting bone moving back? Sorry, right sitting bone moving back. Lift the gaze slightly. Take a slow breath in. And slow breath out. Then look forward. And unwind the shoulders. Keep that length in the spine. We're going to switch to the other side. If you're crossing your legs, cross in the awkward direction. Otherwise, swing your legs over towards the left. Knees forwards. Right sitting bone is on the cushion, whatever you're using. Lengthen through the spine. Inhale, reach the arms. Keep that length. Exhale, left arm forwards, twist. You can use the arms to help. Try to keep the collarbones wide and the shoulders away from the ears as you use the arms. Then look slightly up, tipping the chin up a little. One more breath. And then inhale, look forward. And exhale to unwind. We're going to do that one more time. So cross the legs in the regular direction. And if you're doing Baddha Vajrasana like me, you're going to move your feet towards the right. Your left sitting bone is lifted up, and your right sitting bone is free. Inhale, length, and exhale, turn. Turning away from the feet, turning towards the left. Every inhale, get a little taller through the spine. Every exhale, maybe you turn a little deeper, turning from the navel. One more breath here. Imagine you could breathe in through the top of the head, down into the hips. Next inhale, look forward. Then exhale, unwind the shoulders. Last time, switch your feet. Inhale. And exhale, twist. Use your breath. Let the breath be a tool for the body to either move or be still. Again, gaze slightly up, just a little bit. We're in that part of the year where it starts getting cold. It's darker, longer. So better to sort of lift the chin. One more breath from the crown to the hips. Then inhale, look forward. And exhale, unwind the shoulders. Okay, you can move your props out of the way. And come onto your back. We're going to take happy baby. So pull the knees into the chest, maybe rock side to side in the low back, moving a little massage through the low back. And then you can hold on to the backs of the knees and try to bring the feet up towards the ceiling, bottoms of the feet. Can you pull the knees a little closer towards the shoulders? Can you lift the heels a little higher towards the ceiling? Can you do both at the same time? Maybe you snake the arms inside the knees and then reach for the feet or the ankles. Try to bring the shoulders a little closer to the floor. It's okay if the low back lifts up, but once you find an okay position for the arms, can you try to bring the low back a little closer to the floor so that the sacrum's coming a little lower, the hips are coming a little lower. Breathe here. This is a little bit of a compressive pose. So take it easy, especially if you just ate. Don't do this full out. Release your grip. Bring the knees back to center and then bring the feet down to the floor, knees up towards the ceiling. Cross the right knee on top, right ankle on top of the left knee. Flex the foot. Press the knee away from the face. Press the right hip away from the face. If that still feels okay, you can lift the left foot and bring the legs in a little closer. You can use your hands on the left leg to help pull the legs in a little bit. Here, important to have the right foot flexed, not important to have the left foot flexed. So you can pick. This is our supine pigeon. Here, can you imagine the breath going the opposite way, coming in through the hips, all the way up to the crown of the head, and then down. Excuse me. Try to keep the shoulders wide. One more breath. And then we'll switch sides, bring the left foot down, bring the right foot down. Cross the left ankle over the right knee, flex the foot, press the knee away, press the left hip away. See how that feels. If that feels okay, then maybe lift the right foot and bring the legs in a little closer. You can use your hands to help. And again, keep the left foot flexed, but maybe you relax the right foot. Wherever the hands are, can you try to bring them to a position where you can keep the shoulders wide so that the arms aren't doing all the work here? Breathing slowly. And it's always in that last breath of the pose that you can use the exhale to sort of surrender to whatever the pose is. Oftentimes we get into a shape and then we try to make it more perfect and tweak it and find different ways to play with it. But in that last breath, it just is what it is. Take a slow breath, let it be. And then slowly bring the right foot down, bring the left foot down. And keep the feet wide now, about mat width distance. And then windshield wiper the knees side to side. Keep the feet flexed, especially if you're feeling any pulls in the knees, anything like that. You don't want to push it. Got to protect the knees. And the next time the knees fall towards the left, maybe you stay here. Now, if you're feeling too much sensation, especially in that right knee, you can lift the right knee up and just do this with the left leg. If you're feeling okay in both knees, try to relax the knees closer to the floor, not push the knees closer to the floor, relax the knees closer to the floor. And can you move the right knee away from its own hip, like you're trying to lengthen the front of the right thigh? Surrender on your exhale. Then inhale the knees back to center and exhale towards the left. Sides will be different. So maybe you're just using the right knee to open and you're keeping the left knee up towards the ceiling, totally fine. If you're feeling okay in the knees, keep flexing the feet, but surrender the knees closer to the floor, trying not to push, trying to let gravity do the work. Maybe you press the left knee away from the face, lengthening the front of the quad. Slow breath here. And then inhale the knees back to center. Reset the feet and the hips if they moved. If you have any final shapes you want to take before Shavasana, now is a good time. Otherwise, we're going to come into a longer Shavasana today so that we can do one breathing exercise at the end. So if you need to grab your socks or a sweater, now is a good time. And make your way towards Shavasana. Again, you can keep moving and working on something if you like. And if you are still working on something, you're about halfway through, make sure you even out both sides, and then you can meet us in Shavasana. Make sure you're comfortable. Warm, using any supportive props that you like to use. You can stay as long as you like. I'll offer a breathing exercise we can do. In the yoga system, pranayama is the fourth of the limbs of yoga. So you're supposed to practice the yamas, which are the restraints, the ethics, the niyamas, which are also a different type of ethics. Then the asanas, which are the poses, the seats. And then pranayama is the fourth. So it's a slightly more advanced level of yoga. And prana doesn't just mean breath. Prana means life force in Sanskrit. And it's so deeply connected to the breath because the breath is a clear and obvious conduit of being alive. So we play with the breath as an homage to prana, to the life force itself, knowing that they are related in some way. Today I'll walk you through the pranayama called Viloma 1. Viloma means against the grain. As we're going to hold the breath, we're going to split the breath into 3 sections. And as we hold the breath, sometimes the mind does not like that. Sometimes the body doesn't like it. So if it's bringing up any anxiety or gripping for you, then don't do it. My teacher says once you're gripping, the pose is over. The practice is over. I'll walk you through the first 3. You're welcome to take an extra 1 or 2 on your own. When you're ready, let your exhale be deep and complete. And then take a slow, steady breath in. And a slow, steady breath out. Then inhale just the bottom third of the lungs and pause. Inhale the middle third and pause. Inhale the top third of the lungs and pause. Now you're full of breath, never full to bursting. In order to exhale, take just a slight inhale and then let the breath go. Take some natural breaths. And again, if you feel any gripping creep in, resist, don't push through. Maybe you just take 1 pause instead of 2, instead of 3. Let your exhale be deep and complete. Soft breath in through the nose. Soft breath out through the nose. Inhale the bottom third and pause. Relax the face. Inhale the middle third and pause. Relax the belly. Inhale the top third and pause. Then take in a little sip of air before you exhale. Take some normal breaths in between. I'll walk you through 1 more. You're welcome to stay longer and take as many as you like. Exhaling. Slow, smooth breath in. Slow, smooth breath out. Inhale the bottom third and pause. Middle third and pause. Top third and pause. Relaxing the face, relax the belly. Take a sip of air and exhale. Breathe normally. If you want to stay longer and do more, feel free. Otherwise, gently blink open the eyes. And make your way up to a comfortable seat. Try to keep the face in Shavasana. Your weight moving into the back body, just like we were standing. Roll the shoulders up and back, keep them back. Lengthen the crown of the head. And take a moment to thank yourself for showing up. Thank your body for working for you. Gratitude for the practice. We'll close with 3 breaths together, in through the nose and out through the mouth. When you're ready, let your exhale be deep and complete. Then inhale nose. Exhale mouth. Inhale nose. Exhale mouth. Last time, inhale. And exhale, let it go. Thanks for coming. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I will see you next week.